Egyptian military aircraft touched down in Somalia. Armored vehicles rolled off the runway. And just weeks after Israel formally recognized the Republic of Somaliland, the Horn of Africa entered a new strategic chapter. This is not routine peace support. This is geopolitical signaling, a signal about sovereignty, about the Red Sea, about who defines territorial legitimacy in one of the world's most critical corridors. Because when Egypt deploys troops to Somalia, timing is never incidental, and this timing carries weight. Welcome to Horn Lens, where we decode the geopolitics of the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea with clarity, evidence, and strategic depth. If you value fact-based international analysis beyond headlines, subscribe. Because what unfolds in this region does not remain regional. It shapes maritime trade. It influences Middle East power balances. And increasingly, it determines which political entities gain international recognition and which do not. This week, those dynamics converged. Egyptian troops arrived under the African Union Support and Stabilisation mission, but their presence is a message. Cairo will not tolerate the redrawing of borders in the Horn of Africa. For Somalia, it's vital support. For Egypt, it's a public declaration of intent to defend the region's status quo. The game has changed. Cairo has made its move. The chain reaction began with Israel's recognition of Somaliland, a diplomatic earthquake. Somaliland celebrated, but Somalia saw it as a violation of sovereignty and launched a global campaign to rally support. Egypt, already a close ally, quickly became Somalia's main backer. Years of military agreements between Cairo and Mogadishu suddenly took on new urgency. Egypt, alarmed by the precedent of Somaliland's recognition, reaffirmed its support for a unified Somalia. But words weren't enough. Egypt activated its military protocols, deploying troops under the AUSSOM banner. Officially, the mission targeted al-Shabaab, but the real message was unmistakable. Egypt was drawing a line in the sand. By embedding its forces in an African Union mission, Egypt projected power while staying within international norms. Each move escalated the crisis, transforming a diplomatic dispute into a military standoff. The Egyptian deployment was more than counter-terrorism. It was a signal to Israel, Ethiopia, and others that the Horn's borders would not be redrawn without a fight. The region was now split into rival blocs. The stakes had never been higher. The world was watching. In geopolitics, timing is everything. Egypt's February deployment to Somalia, just weeks after Israel's move, was a masterstroke. Had it come earlier or later, it would have been routine. Now it was a direct counter to Israel's recognition of Somaliland. The speed sent a clear message. Egypt would not let its allies stand alone, and any further moves to legitimize Somaliland would meet resistance. The timing also checked Ethiopia's ambitions, as Addis Ababa eyed Somaliland's Berbera port for sea access. Egypt's rapid response warned both Israel and Ethiopia that Cairo was ready to defend its interests. The deployment was a global signal. Regional powers were now shaping their own security landscape. The Horn of Africa had become a chessboard, and Egypt had just made a decisive move. The world took notice. The Red Sea is one of the world's most vital trade arteries, linking the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean. 12% of global trade passes through its narrow straits, making stability here a matter of global security. For Egypt, the Red Sea and Suez Canal are economic lifelines. Instability near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait is seen as a direct threat to Egypt's national interests. The region is crowded with foreign military bases and rival powers, all vying for influence. The recognition of Somaliland and Egypt's deployment must be seen in this context, a struggle to control the southern gateway to the Red Sea. An independent Somaliland, open to foreign bases, could upend the region's balance. Egypt's move is a forward defense strategy, ensuring the coastline remains in friendly hands and the Red Sea trade route stays secure. The stakes are global, not just regional. For Somaliland, Israel's recognition was a long-sought victory. Decades of building stable institutions and holding elections set it apart from war-torn Somalia. But this diplomatic win triggered fierce backlash. Somalia, Egypt, and the African Union all opposed any change to colonial-era borders. Somaliland's breakthrough isolated it, turning its quest for statehood into a flashpoint for regional rivalries. The Egyptian deployment is a direct response, escalating the stakes. Somaliland's dream of recognition has drawn powerful new adversaries. Its future is now more uncertain than ever. Egypt's intervention in Somalia is driven by layered motives. At the surface, it's about fighting al-Shabaab and supporting a fellow African and Arab state. But deeper, it's a diplomatic stand for territorial integrity. Egypt opposes secessionist movements that could destabilize Africa. The real driver is geostrategic. Egypt's security depends on the Nile and the Red Sea. Ethiopia's dam on the Nile and its growing ties with Somaliland threaten Egypt's interests. An independent Somaliland, allied with Ethiopia and Israel, would encircle Egypt. Deploying troops is a balancing act, countering rivals and asserting Egypt's regional leadership. It's a message. Egypt will not be sidelined in the Horn of Africa. The mission is as much about influence as it is about security. Egypt is now a central player in the region's new power game. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads. One path leads to stability. Egypt's mission helps defeat al-Shabaab, and diplomacy resumes between Somalia and Somaliland. Another path is escalation. Regional blocs harden, arms build up, and the Horn becomes a proxy battleground. The most likely outcome? A tense standoff. Egypt's presence deters further recognition of Somaliland, but tensions simmer beneath the surface. The region settles into a cold peace, with foreign forces propping up fragile governments. The choices made in Cairo, Mogadishu, Hargeisa, and Addis Ababa will shape the future. The world's attention is now fixed on the Horn. The next moves will be decisive. Egypt's deployment in Somalia is more than another peacekeeping mission. It's a turning point. Regional powers are now shaping their own security, challenging the old order of external intervention. The Somaliland dispute has exposed deep rivalries and linked the Horn's fate to global interests. The Red Sea security, the principle of territorial integrity, and the ambitions of new alliances are all in play. The Horn of Africa is now a microcosm of 21st century power politics. Quietly, the events here are redrawing the global map. The world ignores the Horn at its own peril. Subscribe to Horn Lens for serious geopolitical analysis grounded in evidence, not rhetoric. Because the next phase of this story will unfold in strategy, and we will be here to decode it.